Just got done editing this interview. You guys are going to love it. Before I do that, though, I want you to know that I'm going to be in the comments for the next 30 minutes or so answering your questions. If there's additional questions you want me to ask the CEO next time I interview them, leave them below. Or if you're just loving the data points I get CEOs to share, click the thumbs up button below. That's your way of telling me you're loving this stuff, and I'll get you more of it. Additionally, again, I'll be in the comments answering any questions you have. All right, for 30 minutes. Enjoy the interview. Hello, everyone. My guest today is Carson Conant. He is building a company called MediaFly. He's the CEO and founder of the company based in Chicago, really focused on sales enablement. Under Carson's leadership, the company has been recognized as an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company for 5 consecutive years, a best place to work by Inc. in 2018, and a best place to work by Crain's Chicago business. The software is currently leveraged by top Fortune 500 companies, including PepsiCo, Miller Coors, Disney, and Goldman Sachs. Carson, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, man.
All right. Enterprise play here. It sounds like, what's the company doing? Are you pure play SaaS?
Pure play SaaS. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And enterprise, although we also, handle small business now that we've got this acquisition we just made. So we can handle small teams and small business, which is something new since last time.
What was the acquisition?
So we acquired a company called iPresent, UK-based company, UK and here, but it gives us a self-serve kind of a freemium model that is pretty unique in this space.
Mm-hmm. Why do the acquisition? I mean, why deal with self-serve at all?
So one of the biggest challenges with sales enablement is a lot of companies don't know the value. So they know they have to do this at some point, but it feels a lot like CRM. They're worried about the deployment, worried about the return, worried about usage. So this just removes all that. So if you're you can start with 5 users, even if you've got 10,000 long term. So it allows us to beat the competition. Companies like Showpad and Seismic, we can now come in and say, look, don't spend 18 months looking at this thing. Roll it out to 5 people. It's going to be great. Then start adding more users.
Do you compete with Showpad?
We do. Yep.
Interesting. And sorry, what was the second one?
Seismic.
Interesting. And so sorry, help me understand. How do you feel like this gives you an advantage over Showpad?
So we can go into companies, and rather than going through a big enterprise purchase cycle where there's a lot of risk and a lot of, there's people are worried about it, right? It's kind of like, you go buy, Gmail for your business. The ability to start at a no-cost model or a very inexpensive model removes a lot of the risk, because you start using it and you realize, shit, this thing really works. So we have a big campaign that's launching in the next 30 days, specifically around essentially allowing companies to get easy access to sales enablement, whereas before it wasn't this easy.
So as your ACV moved down, last time we spoke, what you were doing, I think about $100,000 ACV was the average.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be about half that is my guess. Mainly we're just adding customers so fast with this model. I still land and expand. So we still take those. I mean, some of our biggest accounts started at 5 users and are now, 1,000 users, right? So the model hasn't changed. The big thing is we're just adding customers faster. So, they'll grow over the next, 18, 24 months. But we can close new customers in less than 30 days now, whereas historically it took, several months.
So how many customers are you at right now?
I think it's 260 customers right now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you came on the show 6 months or 3 months ago and you're at 150. So, I mean, you've added about 110. Now, obviously, some of those are maybe SMBs.
Yep. Yeah, SMBs, also just small teams within big companies, right? So, we've got accounts now where there might be, 15, 20 different divisions that are each contracting separately using this new model. So they don't have to run through a big procurement process. They can each buy it individually. And because the model's self-service, we can support it.
Has most of that growth come from that acquisition?
Most of the customer growth?
Yeah.
Probably about probably about a third of that growth since the last time you and I talked was organic. The other 2/3 came from this acquisition.
Okay. So break down the acquisition for me, right? How the conversation started? They reach out to you, you reach out to them?
Yeah, we talked to them about 2 years ago. At the time, we hadn't done an acquisition. We now have, so we didn't have that muscle. And we hadn't figured out some of our own stuff. So, we kept in touch. They were in a place where I just, I talked to them and convinced them to merge themselves into MediaFly. So, they're similar culture, very similar technical, competencies. It gives us a great headquarters in the UK now too. So, international is a big piece of our business. And, so the combination of all those things just made it a natural fit for both of us.
You were very good at using debt. I want to dive into that. How much cash did you actually have to put up for the iPresent deal, or did you get away with nothing?
Yeah, no, we did end up putting some cash up. I don't think I'm allowed to say what it was, but it did include cash as well as debt on our side. But it was this was different than our previous acquisition in that there were some outside shareholders that we needed to buy out versus a true acqui-hire where everything just rolls in. We're looking at a couple more similar to this model.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, so if for someone else that's trying to buy companies, maybe in your shoes, they have cash on the balance sheet, they want to buy companies, they also want to use debt. How levered can you get up? So let me role play here for a second. Let's say there's a company doing $5 million in ARR that you want to go buy, right? And let's say the price is $10 million, right? There obviously you can do stock, earn out, cash up front, blah, blah, blah. Let's say it's all cash up front, 10 million. Using CIBC or any other banking partner, how much do you can lever up? How much equity do you actually have to put in, you think?
So the combination of CIBC and then other folks, I think we can get to about 1x ARR if we wanted to. I don't know if we get the full credit from the acquisition until a couple quarters, so there's probably a discount there. And I think the model we've been looking at is kind of a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, where it's maybe a 1/3 in cash up front, 1/3 in stock, and then 1/3 in kind of earn-out notes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if you do 1/3 in cash though, right? Let's say the deal size is 10 million, 1/3 is cash, that's 3 million, but you're able to raise personally in debt 1x your current MediaFly company ARR. Again, you could get away by using only debt doing this deal, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. What's the team size today? How many people?
So we added 22, kept everybody. So I think we're 120 now, I want to say.
Yeah, you were 85 4 months ago. So that's a lot of growth. Have you raised additional capital to do this or still 28 million in equity?
We raised, kind of the beginning of our Series C here. So we raised some additional convertible stuff that'll convert in. I want to say it's probably about, it's a good question what it is. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to mention it, but we did start raising essentially convertible notes that will lead into our Series C that'll come out. Originally we were going to do that right about now, but this acquisition, we decided to give ourselves kind of 2 quarters after this acquisition to let it bake and kind of impact our valuation. And so we think we'll close our Series C somewhere end of this calendar year, first couple months of next.
And what is that looking like? A 10 million, 20 million, 30 million kind of round? What do you think the size will be?
Yeah, so it's anywhere between, call it 30 and 50 million, depending on how much kind of refinancing we do and that kind of stuff. And also depending on how much inorganic we want to do. So there's kind of two groups of companies that are interested in us. Some that are saying, look, let's run to profitability. We think we'll be profitable next year.
What are you burning right now? 3 months ago, you told me $600,000 a month.
So we're probably similar to that right now. This company is profitable. So everything we're doing is reducing that. And so we'll be profitable. This plan still hasn't changed since the last time we talked. So middle of next year. Mm-hmm. And then everybody we're looking at from an inorganic standpoint would be profitable or break even.
So let's say you do raise 50 million. What I'm hearing you say is some of that might be secondary, clean up the cap table a little bit. Is that accurate?
Yep. We actually don't need that much money ourselves to get to profitability. So a lot of that would be secondary, clean up cap table, as well as have some cash on the balance sheet or have a backer that could support some of these additional acquisitions we're looking to do.
Yep. How many acquisitions do you think you'll do over the next 12 months?
Next 12 months. So I don't know if we'll do another one this fiscal year. Our fiscal year ends in February. I think we have what we feel like we need to go beat Showpad. My guess is we'll do another acquisition next fiscal year. Potentially 2. We've got a couple that are really interesting in mind, but haven't settled on kind of mutual valuation. We want to see our valuation kind of pop a little bit here. With the one we did last year, Alinion's working great, and then this one is already working well. Actually, we've started using it even before the deal closed to win deals away from the competitors.
4 months ago when you came on, you had about 150 customers paying about $8,000 or $9,000 a month for about 1.2 million in MRR. Are you still at that range, or are you more now?
That's a good. I'm amazed. I had all this data in my head. I must have just come out of an investor meeting or something. I don't know offhand what our MRR is now. But it's north of what it was.
What do you think you'll close the year at in terms of run rate?
I think we'll close the year about a little shy of 20 million in ARR.
Okay.
At the end of this.
Okay, good. So that would be like about 1.6 million a month, something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And we've got phenomenal retention. So that's one of the neat things about our business is just the ability to keep these customers for a decade.
What's phenomenal mean?
I think our gross retention last year was 98%. It'll be lower this year.
Revenue or logo basis?
Revenue basis. Logo basis. That's a good question. Logo base is pretty similar. I think we only lost one logo all of last year.
Okay. So just to be clear, gross revenue churn annually is about 10% right now.
Last year, gross revenue trend was 2%, so 98% retention. Okay. This year, I guess it's probably going to be in that kind of 92 to 95% range. Would be my guess.
Now, will your expansion more than outweigh that 5% churn?
Oh, by far. Yep.
Even ignoring new customer ads, just upsells on old customers.
Yep. I want to say our net retention last year was about 110%, something like that.
By the way, you're very consistent in your answers. That means you're not lying, right? So you told me last time you were on 2% gross revenue churn, 9% expansion, 107% net. You just told me 110. So again, all checks out.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how are you changing your strategies around customer acquisition cost, right? So again, when you came on earlier, you said, we're happy to spend 160 grand to get a new customer paying $9,000 a month, 19-month payback period. Where's that trending now?
Yeah. So with the iPresent acquisition, it's going to be in flux here for the next couple quarters. But I think the payback period will be similar. I think it's probably in that 12-month range. Lifetime value, we make a lot of money on these folks. The big thing I think we're going to do is just win logos faster, and we're doing that with the value story solution that we acquired last year, the calculator stuff. But with this one, we can now go in and say, look, here, try it for 190 days. Just pay us a little bit of money. Load it up with users. And so really, what we're focused on now is acquiring customers, knowing that because we have such a strong retention and the solution's great. It'll be good. So the next time we do this call, in a couple of quarters, I'll have some better answers there.
That's great. Now, what's the split look like after the acquisition in terms of your team? How many engineers?
That's a great question. We picked up, I want to say 10 engineers. So probably half of that team was engineers.
So 60.
Yep. So probably about 60 in engineers and kind of technical folks, engineers, testers, that kind of stuff. And then the other half of that business obviously was commercial. They were really light. They had no real, they didn't have accounting and finance, that kind of stuff. They had a really strong CEO that joined now as our kind of EVP of operations in Europe. So there's almost there is no redundancy.
So you have 120 people total on the team. 60 of them are engineers.
That sounds about right. That sounds a little heavy. It's probably,
okay.
But it's a good question. We're definitely a product company. And so there's probably 40 to 60 engineers, but I would say as part of this team.
And how many reps carry quota?
That's a really good question. So about 10, I want to say.
Okay. Are you ramping that up right now, or you already have enough leads for them?
Do I have enough leads for them? We do. I'm sure if I asked them, they would never say we have enough leads. I would say we have enough leads for this team. We want to dramatically add additional headcount. So part of what this acquisition does for us is allow us to we can go target companies that are actively looking at Showpad, and win them quicker. So as we're now seeing that engine ramp up, that's where we're going to need a lot more headcount to run that stuff down.
Yeah, very good. All right, let's wrap up here, Carson, with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite business book.
Favorite business book, Still Good to Great, or Jack Welch, Straight from the Gut.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said Straight from the Gut last time. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I'm a big Elon Musk fan, but I don't know if that's from just charisma or I drive a Tesla, and he's definitely I'm the one that I'm the most impressed with today.
Number 3, is there a favorite online tool you have for building your company?
Favorite tool for building the company? Wow, that's a really great question. I don't know. Is it like a web tool? You mean like a development tool? I don't know if I do. If it's anything, it would be the Gmail suite. I can't imagine existing without it.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Wow. I actually do okay there. Probably 6 to 8.
Okay. And situation, married, single, kids?
Married, 2 kids.
It's a good thing that didn't change. Okay, married and 2 kids. And how old are you, Carson?
44. I'll be 45 in a couple months.
That's pretty exciting. All right, last question. Take us home. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Invest earlier in sales and marketing. Definitely. I'm a product CEO. I'm a product lover. I love the product. I'm a programmer by background, I would have invested earlier in marketing and sales.
Guys, Carson, MediaFly looking to take over Showpad here. $28 million raised, burning call it $600,000 per month to drive growth. Just did a big acquisition, 120 people on the team, 50 engineers. They look to scale, on track to break 20 million in terms of run rate by the end of this year. Currently doing about 1.4, 1.5-ish million per month. They look to scale. Now 260 customers as they open up top of funnel, kind of lower value in terms of what they're paying folks with this new acquisition and a new European headquarters. Carson, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much.
These CEOs rarely give these kinds of interviews. I hit them hard, I get the data, and I want to do it more. So if you want to get more of this stuff, make sure you subscribe up here. And then additionally, go check out one of my other CEO interviews right now.